I got to prepare for this one. Got my shot glass ready.
I've been drinking since the start. Welcome back to the Complete Guide to Horror podcast. Today we have the pleasure of talking shit on one of the worst reboots in horror film history, if not film history overall.
Drag this bitch. Want to talk some bud?
I am of course talking about Child's Play, brackets 2019. The remake nobody asked for.
Drag her. Drag her.
Did I say that? I've never said that.
That takes the concept of Chucky and reduces him from a serial killer to a malfunctioning reduces him to a malfunctioning Amazon Alexa style killer. Look, I'll be honest, I bought a ticket to this movie surely just for the hope that Aubrey Plaza would save this. I'm a huge Aubrey Plaza fan. I loved her in everything from Parks and Rec to Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. You know, I just thought maybe she could save this somehow, but I got nothing out of it.
Drag her. Drag this old fracking dumb bitch.
You know, they could have easily just renamed this to something really dumb like Toy Terror, Batteries Not Included, or Barbie Goes Batshit and Animated, but no, instead we got this.
You know what I mean?
Ruin her career.
I am so disappointed. I also feel very sorry for Don Mancini and the original creators of Child's Play, who no doubt would have been fuming at this, and they were. They came out multiple times on Twitter. Not only Don, but it was Jennifer Tilly, it was previous actors. They didn't understand why this type of project went ahead without any involvement. I don't think the series needed to be rebooted at all, and that if they were going to do it, it should have been from a genuine place of interest or a genuine source of creativity. Also, complete side note, but so when I watched this movie, I went with my dear friend Orsa, who, you know, not necessarily like a big horror movie fan, but, you know, she wanted to go and see it as well. And I remember after the movie, we were just like, what was that? You know, for all I know, she might have seen all the other Chucky movies, but I think this might have been like her second time watching the Chucky movie or whatnot. And yeah, just nothing good to say.
Drag her.
When people talk about general run-of-the-mill horror movies, run-of-the-mill slashers, this is the perfect example because there's just no passion, no creativity, nothing that really sets it apart. I feel like this is made up of like 20-second clips of almost every other horror movie released from 2001 onwards, that it doesn't have its own identity, doesn't really set up anything for future sequels. And I mean, it's been 3 years now. There's still no word on a Child's Play 2, like in brackets 2023 or whatever. But yeah, very disappointed. I'm actually not sure who to start with first. You know what, Coop, we'll start with you. What did you think?
Oh, God. All right. Okay. This is the worst Chucky movie there ever was, ever will be, blah, blah, blah.
Really?
You know what I mean?
That bad? Damn. Yeah. Drag them.
I remember going to see this movie. I think it was actually the last time I was in an actual cinema because my new/old discovery is that drive-in theaters are the shit.
And now, a feature presentation. Oh, very well. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Get ourselves some snacks.
I just do that now because you don't have to hear anybody else or be around anybody else. It's much better. But I went to go and see this, and I was thinking, you know, like, I'll keep an open mind, and I was very much trying not to be, you know, a Chucky purist, and the fact that it's a remake and that there's no Don Mancini, there's no Dave Kirshner, there's not even Brad Dourif involved in this. But I thought, you know, Mark Hamill is revered as a voice actor. Surely he'll be able to do something with this movie, and just tried to go in there as a positive Polly. And it's shit in my face is what I got in result. And just straight from the opening scene, and it starts off and straight away, any kind of intrigue is taken away from this movie when it's just a disgruntled employee turns off the safety settings. And immediately I was like, fuck this movie. This is ridiculous.
Drag her.
Now, Mark Hamill is not even playing a character. He's playing a robot who, even as the movie goes on, no, he doesn't develop any kind of personality or any kind of character traits or anything like that. They completely wasted his involvement in this movie. The idea of the Buddi is stupid. The idea that as a remake in 2019 that kids would give a shit about a goddamn Google Home that's a doll. Get fucked, for fuck's sake. Nobody would give a shit about that. It's literally, just a Google Home, but it's a doll. So that's stupid. It was like, I don't know if either of you have seen the movie Eagle Eye.
No.
Okay, it's got Shia LaBeouf and that actress that looks like a younger Sandra Bullock. I cannot remember her name. Anyway, but in that movie, there's this program that takes control of basically anything electronic. And that's pretty much what this movie was. It was like iRobot mixed with Eagle Eye, and Chucky's now your Google Home, and he's making all the toys go after you. It is just reprehensible crap. There's no suspense or tension. The characters are all just there, apart from Aubrey Plaza, who does everything in her power to succeed in this movie. But everything is just falling around her. It's insane. It's just a robot movie, and it's just called Child's Play. The character is called Andy Barclay. That's the only thing that this movie has in common. They call the doll calls itself Chucky. Other than that, nothing. It's not enjoyable to watch. It's not interesting. The doll looks fucking stupid, as BP said about the other ones, about how they look bloated. This one is allergic to crustaceans and has just had a fucking crab buffet and is just bloated at every fucking angle. This doll looks stupid, creepy. You wouldn't let this thing around your children anyway.
Here's my thing. I'm going to be a little harsh. Can I be honest and harsh?
Drag her.
Yeah, what are they going to cancel me? I don't care.
I can't with this movie. It is so bad. And it's not worth watching once, let alone twice. I didn't like it as much the second time around as I did the first. When I first watched this movie, when I left and came out of that cinema, the first place I went, I literally decided I've got to go and get a drink. And there was some pokey hole downstairs with a bunch of like seedy motherfuckers on the pokies and shit. And I was just like, give me a scotch. Give me a scotch. I need to be cleansed. And I'm still dirty. The showers aren't enough. But here we are. Anyway, BP, I'm sure you hate this movie also. Maybe not as passionately or take it as personally as myself, but proceed.
Well, I'll start off with a reference. I don't know, has anyone seen The Guilt Trip featuring Seth Rogen and Barbara Streisand?
I've seen
Negative.
little bits and pieces, but I gotta say I can't really stand Seth Rogen, so
Okay,
yeah.
Well, it's pretty much a mother-son road trip in a car. That's how it is.
Right.
It already sounds bad enough with those two actors. I like Seth Rogen, but not with Barbara Streisand. And he made a comment on that film because it bombed really bad. And the quote that I like to Child's Play 2019 is, "It's the format that plays on airplanes only." It's that bad of a movie that if you have to watch it on an airplane or as something in the background, sure, but watching it purely as entertainment, it's trash. I think it's an insult to the Chucky franchise.
Drag them. Drag them.
It pisses me off that they decided to go ahead with making this film despite the original creators, Jennifer Tilly, everyone associated with the original Chucky franchise saying no, and they went ahead and did it. And I remember when it came out and I was watching the box office figures closely to be like, don't make money, don't justify a sequel. I want this to bomb bad. And I'm not that person. I like, especially after COVID, things to succeed, especially the box office, because I know how bad they got affected. But this film, I was like praying that it didn't make any money. It pretty much did not make any money at all. Aubrey Plaza as an actor, I like. She's all right in this film, but I just don't think she was the right fit to start with. Like she's good in Parks and Rec, and she's more that comedy sort of sarcastic role. And her being a mother, I didn't find convincing, but she's sort of like, as you guys said, the only saving grace in this film. I know what you're saying, Coop, about the Buddi doll being a Google Home thing. I think they only kind of went that way because I guess it's the trend at the moment, the smart facility. So they kind of had to find a way to make a doll relevant again in a way that you can interact with. But I agree, it's just a Google Home on sneakers. I will give props to the kill scenes. Very much like Saw, in a lot of them, they're very gory, and I actually do like the goriness and the bloodiness of this film. I thought it was quite good. But yeah, everything else is forgettable. I don't really know what they were doing with this film, and yeah, it just pisses me off that they've decided to go ahead, even though people said not to. And I'm like, oh well. So I'm sort of glad that it bombed like it is, but it's a shame that Aubrey Plaza has this film attached to her film career.
Yep.
Well, it's like with the kill scenes, like I do agree in some aspects that, you know, they are good, a little bit gory, a little bit bloody, but I just don't think they have as much impact because it's done by fucking Google Echo or, you know, Siri at this stage. So it's like, I don't, you know, it's not as funny. If there was like a one-liner by Chucky, I know he does, like, there's that one throwaway line where it's like, this is for Tupac. And like, that's said by kids earlier in the film. But to me, it wasn't as funny because he's a robot that's designed to re-say whatever people say to him. That was like, oh, okay. But even with the kill scenes, it's like, even if there was something where he was purposely evil, that would make the kill scenes more effective. But because it's all a glitch, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he held onto the pipe that was too hard, falls on the saw, gets disemboweled or whatever. Like, yeah, it's like interesting for about 2 seconds, but it's not something I'm leaving the cinema with going, wasn't that so cool? Oh, I love that. That was fucking sick. Like, I'm just leaving cinema going, what did I watch?
Yeah.
And even then, I was trying to think of a way to say this, and I think, BP, you nailed it on the head. It's like the writers of this movie tried too hard to make it appealing to kids or make it appealing to a child character with a toy. That, like, I know, like, I have a little sister who's 11 years old. If I gave her a doll that talked back to her and everything, she'd be like, okay. Like, she wouldn't give a shit for it. It's the same way it's like the boomer thing where it's like, phone bad, book good. Like, like, kids are only interested in electronics, and it's like, well, yeah, we all are. Like, I was always addicted to my, like, you know, your Nintendo 64, your internet, your computer. Just happens now that instead of a big ass computer, it's now a small iPad.
Yeah.
Like, that whole thing hasn't changed between generations. I mean, for people in like their 60s, it was probably the newspaper or some shit.
Yeah.
But it's also that thing. It's like if you presented like you say, your sister with a Nintendo Switch or a Buddi doll, like 98%, 99% of people are going to choose a Switch, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, it's like just the Furby, but just like the 2019 version of a less scary but bloated, constipated Furby.
You've got to get rid of those Furbies. They've turned feral.
I would like to say that in 2022, I would still much prefer a Furby to a fucking Buddi doll.
I wonder. I was trying to find out some information on whether the whole. I know this is such a silly thing to get to get annoyed about or whatever, but the spelling of Buddi, Buddi, I don't know if they were spelling that on purpose for like the I factor, like iPhone, iPad, Buddi, or if they were trying to get around some copyright issues with like existing Buddi dolls or good guy dolls. But at the same time, why didn't they just fucking call it a good guy doll? Like, you see, like, Barbie hasn't changed her name. She's always been Barbie since, 1920s or whenever that doll was released?
Don't ask me. I'm just a girl.
Like Ken didn't change his name to Daffodil because that's the new trend in name or whatever.
And I think that's more to your point about the fact that, like, if they're not going to call it a good guy doll, if they're going to call it a Buddi and they're going to make all these changes, just have it be fucking Toy Terror batteries not included. Just have it be something else. If that's the movie that you want to make and it's not remotely, you know, oh, now I've got to tie it in with the rights that I have to this movie. No, don't do that. Just fucking make that movie. And then if you come up with a decent idea to use those other rights for fucking Child's Play, then do it. But don't turn it into fucking Eagle Eye or iRobot or bloody Transformers or whatever the fuck. Or one of them was a bear. There was a bear.
Yeah. That was really cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
If this one thing gets me as well, is that sometimes the point of remaking or doing a reboot is to capitalize on an existing horror IP that leads to like good box office returns and whatnot. But first of all, the money did not make that much money. The movie didn't make that much money at the box office. So that was a fail. But also, people don't, like, you know, if you think of your traditional non-horror movie fan that casually watches a horror movie maybe once a year or two, like your Paranormal Activities or your, I don't know, maybe a Saw every now and then. But Child's Play is very late 80s. You know, it's not, I don't think it has the same like recognition as, say, like Bride of Chucky or Seed of Chucky or Curse of Chucky. So it's surprising they didn't call it Chucky and instead they just stuck with Child's Play. I mean, you know, I think they should have like still called it a different name or something, but then it would have given them so much more ideas to like change the design of this doll to be something really threatening or whatnot. I mean, you know, it worked for Annabelle. Annabelle made shit ton of money at the box office. Something like over $250 million. Whereas Child's Play itself, I think it only made 40 million or 46 million worldwide. So it's like
$10 million budget, 45 at the box office.
Like they could have made so much more money. And I'm not saying that Chucky, like the Chucky movies, are the reason why it failed.
Drag her!
I think it's because there was so much negative press where people were saying, no, the original people are not involved. The trailer didn't really leave any desire to actually watch the movie. You know, if I'm a casual horror person, you know, I'm going to go choose to see Annabelle over this Child's Play remake. I also think doll-related horror was kind of out at the time. So unless you are your Annabelle or your regular Chucky movies, why would I pay money to go see this? This looks so stupid, so confusing. And I don't know, even like 2019, that was the same year Annabelle Comes Home was released into cinemas. I think it still did okay at the box office, but that movie, yeah, not that good. Some okay ideas, but I think people were just sick to death of this fucking Annabelle doll popping up every couple of years to do a movie.
Drag her.
Just looking, Toy Story 4 also came out the same weekend, and I remember reading that Chucky even had the nerve to, in one of their promo posters, I'll have to find it, but they've got like an Andy lookalike doll as like a promo selling point to kind of go and see the movie. They kind of like, I think it was like Andy's hand or the cowboy or something, and it had Child's Play 2019 with like the cowboy hat in it. We're trying to like bounce off Toy Story 4. Yeah.
Those bastards.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember they had a whole slate of posters. One was the Woody hat or the Woody arm. Then it was Buzz Lightyear. Then it was the sheep, Bo Peep sheep. I'll be honest, I haven't seen Toy Story 4, but
good.
Yeah, I just remember there were some things like that, which was kind of funny, and it did get some shares on like social medias and all that. Yeah. But it's still, I think it just felt very out of place at a time to do a remake that no one asked for.
Yeah, it's that thing of creating solutions or creating answers to questions no one asked, and no one was really asking for a remake. And like I said before, I think the way they went about it, knowingly that it like pissed everyone else off in the Chucky franchise, and they just went and did it, just kind of irked me that they did that as a company. I'm surprised they just went and did it. They didn't really care. So that's why I'm happy it sort of bombed and that no sequels come out since. And it's sort of like, with the TV show, it's sort of like an FU to this Child's Play 2019. The production company haven't made another one. It's sort of like, well, don't go and do that. You know, like karma.
Drag me.
And the show seems to be doing a lot better than. I mean, the reception's so much better for the TV show than it ever was for this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't think it's sort of. Yeah, it's just kind of. I put dour tone is what I put for the whole film. It's just very ho-hum, very passes time. It doesn't do anything with it. It had potential, but yeah, as we sort of explained, it doesn't really do anything right. I mean, Aubrey Plaza's probably the only good thing out of it, but even then, like I said, she's not the person I would cast for that mum role. It just felt weird that she was in that role because she's still she's older.
I didn't mind that character.
Yeah, but I just think her as a mum in that movie, it should have been, I don't know, I'm trying to think of someone. Hunger Games, what's her name?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, like even that's still weird, but maybe more.
But it's like, it's interesting too, because most of the time when you see like mothers, not only horror films, but general films as well, they're either always like 35 or they're 65. There's no younger mums represented on screen. But even then, just like because it's Aubrey Plaza's natural personality, traits where she's like very jokey, very funny. I didn't get a mum vibe from her with this character. I got more of like an older sister that's been like forced to take care of their younger brother. But maybe if they did that, it would have also tied in with maybe like the dynamic between Kyle and Andy in Child's Play 2. But I don't know, maybe they
Amy Schumer to play the role.
No.
They should have just done that. They already like stuffed the franchise up enough. So they just put Amy Schumer.
I respect. I was about to say something really dumb. I was going to be like, I respect women except Amy Schumer, but no, there's so much. All right, so there was going to be Once Upon a Time. This actually does tie into Child's Play, but the Barbie movie that's coming out next year with Margot Robbie. So the original concept of this Barbie movie was going to be Amy Schumer plays this Barbie doll that doesn't fit in with all the pretty perfect Barbie dolls. And so she leaves to go start a life of her own. The only thing is, I think they were only trying to say that she wasn't a perfect Barbie was because she was like not stick skinny like a regular Barbie doll. But then that kind of concept is still like the main plot, even for the version starring Margot Robbie. So maybe it's going to be personality based as opposed to like appearance based. But even then, there was so much not outcry or outrage per se, but people just didn't want to see Amy Schumer in a movie after she had been in. It was like between 2017 to 2018, she was in so many movies that people were just like, we're sick of her. Like, give us a break. You know, it's like when music artists release like 6 singles in a row and then they disappear for a couple of years because they get too famous or on the news too much. So they do run the risk of, overplay, overexposure. But
Amy Schumer doesn't really do anything right to start with. I mean, she's just shit to start with. So
drag her. Well, that's not what I meant.
Who's like asking for this actor? Like, who out there is putting requests like, we want to see Amy Schumer and something? Because I'm just kind of like failed to understand. Like, maybe I'm not 15 or something and watched I Look Pretty or whatever, I Feel Pretty film or something, didn't understand it or something. I don't know. But I just know that she grates my gears, or grinds my gears, I should say. So, she's just a shit actor. And she's shit at comedy.
She did drag her.
She reminds me of like the female version of I always forget his last name. Dane something.
Dane Cook.
Oh,
Dane Cook sucks.
The fucking comedy where it's like, oh, I went and bought a sandwich, and then the sandwich said, I'm just like, what the fuck are you saying? I can't keep up with it, and I don't understand why it's funny. And then like every single person from high school shares it on Facebook, and they're like, I died laughing, and they make you.
Yeah,
it's like. I'm going completely off track. You know those people where they tag you in like a 10-minute video and they're like, did you watch it to the end? And you're like, yep, totally did. They're like, wasn't it funny? And I'm like, yep, I said as I literally share these podcast episodes all over Facebook. No, but
Gives us the right to say what we want.
Ah,
So really,
shut
when
the
you think about
fuck
it.
you can polish a turd, but it's still a piece of shit. And in this case, it's like they didn't even try to polish it. They were just like, well, here we go.
Yeah.
I do have a controversial question, though. Do either of you have any particularly favorite parts?
The credit.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'll try. I mean, look, yeah. As we mentioned, Aubrey Plaza does it best. So I do enjoy just like the little scenes of her just not taking shit from customers when she's working a shift at the Walmart or the Happy Mart or whatever mart it is in this. So that shit's always, funny, and just her being sarcastic and just being a gem.
Thanks. This is the best day of my life. I'm killing myself tomorrow.
Everything else is rather forgettable. And the Buddi song does my head in because it plays in the credits.
Oh no, yeah.
Abrupt ending as well. I remember being at the cinema and being like, "You're my buddy," and I was like, the light came on. Like,
That song is so bad.
Yeah.
I will give props to that one specific kill scene where it's the what's it called, like the love interest of, I was gonna say Amy Schumer, fucking up, the love interest of Aubrey Plaza's character going home to his actual family, and the Buddi doll follows him, kills him with the, what do you call it, like the lawnmower spiky thingamajig. Some very American.
That lawnmower is from the Garden Home, Thor 3D.
That's what I thought. I was like, where have I seen this before?
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I can think about. I mean, in terms of least favorite parts, the overall movie itself.
Where do we start? We'll be here all night.
Yeah.
Just if I try to think of like probably the worst part of the movie, for me, it's the whole design of Chucky itself, or Buddi, whatever you want to call it. Just they could have had so many opportunities to turn this into like serial killer doll, that, bring back the storyline of Charles Lee Ray, but the fact that it's just a malfunctioning thing. I mean, you can still give it personalities. I'm surprised they didn't write something into it where, you could customize the voice of the doll or something, and maybe that goes haywire. So like switches between like nice Chucky, evil Chucky, feminine Chucky, or some weird Texas version of Chucky or something. They could have worked that in somehow, but instead they're just like, nope, we're sticking with Mark Hamill's one for voice impression, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think the other thing as well, Chucky in the other film, when he's not alive, is a rather cute doll, and they do a good job at making him somewhat cute with the overall the sneakers and stuff. But even in this one, they can't even get that right. So as a doll on its own, it's not likable or cute, even for someone like me. So let alone like, say, your sister, Justin. So the fact that they kind of stuffed up on that, and then it's not even a likable real life doll either. I'm just like, wouldn't that be kind of
the doll in Child's Play? It looks like, if I saw a kid in school that looked like that doll, I would bully it. Like, I would. Stupid looking doll. Or was that woman saying the first Child's Play? She's like, "Oh, what an ugly doll." And Charlie's like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
Tracker.
Safe to say, I think we could all agree this was not a good concept at all for a reboot. Just, so many missed opportunities. Also, the fact that they didn't receive the blessing. I mean, if you don't receive the blessing, I would have quit the movie industry then and there, because I would have been like, holy fuck, I completely insulted the original creators of this franchise. But Paramount being Paramount, and, movie producers being movie producers, would have been like, oh, well, too bad. And then the fact that it backfired on them with how shit the box office earnings are, I mean...
Drag me. Wow.
The actors who chose to partake in this, they probably signed contracts and everything way before all the negative press came out as well. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's unfortunate. Just before we wrap up this episode, did either of you have any other thoughts, final statements you want to make, or general rants?
I'm trying to think of I'm trying to come up with the most hateful thing I can say about this movie, to be honest. Movie is absolute dumpster fire, and it's never worth watching.
Yeah, second favorite parts of credit. Watch it, guys.
Yep.
Can you imagine if they did like a post-credit scene for this movie, and it's like a just to like piss off everyone even more? They're like, "Oh, it was all a dream," and it turns out to be Tiffany with the Tiffany doll or some bullshit. They're like, "Surprise, we brought it back again."
I would be livid.
Just, I can't. The only other example of a big fuck up I can think of in terms of a remake is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But even then, like the one that was just released on Netflix, like, what, 3 or 4 months ago? Even then, I could say some good things about that movie, but yeah, this Child's Play, nothing. Halloween 2018, I can say some good things about that one. Scream, the reboot, love that one. I can't think of any.
Since we talked now between this film, Final Destination 4, and then probably like Spiral or Jigsaw is our like 3 hated ones so far in this podcast.
Yeah.
And we need to do like a little like
This one is up there.
God, talk about a fucking shit fest. But anyway, BP, Coop, thank you both for joining me again today.
Wasn't fun this time.
Yeah, thank you though.
Anytime. Listeners, in our next set of episodes, we discuss the Chucky TV series and take a look at J-horror remakes with The Ring. If you like this... damn it, my alarm went off. Sorry. Damn it, I was on a roll.
I thought it was me doing it. I had one job.
I'm just going to start from the... we discussed Chucky TV series and all that shit.
Yeah.
Listeners, in our next episodes, we discuss the Chucky TV series and take a look at J-horror remakes with The Ring. If you like this episode, like, comment, share, yada, yada, yada. And if you hated this episode, I'm going to pay for you to go watch Child's Play 2019 myself.